Welcome to FYI, folks. It's Thursday. It's Thursday the 3rd. Good to have each and every one of you here with us this morning. I'm joined by the beautiful Amanda Walton Desir and Charita Finance. Welcome, guys, to FYI.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning, all. Welcome.
I'm so lucky.
To
Am I not?
Yes. Welcome, everybody. It's good to be here with you guys. How are you doing? How is it in your neck of the woods? What's the weather like? Let's know in the comments. Let's know where you're joining us from. We want to welcome Beatrice. Beatrice is here already, and Siobhan McDonald. Good morning, and remember to share the live stream.
Yes. Share, then smash.
And smash
the emoji. Amanda's coming to come.
We're
We're bringing her in fast.
fast.
We bring her in real fast. Good to have each and every one of you here, guys. And we hope you guys are after a great breakfast, after a great day, and all is going well at your end. We hope so.
See Pamela Dover is
Yes.
on, and
Yeah.
Gavin Liverpool. Good morning. Good morning, FYI family, says Beatrice. Siobhan says a blessed good morning, everyone. She's watching from Florida.
Oh,
And
fantastic.
it's a pleasure to be on FYI this morning. You know, it's so heartwarming to have people from literally all over the globe joining us.
Yes.
We see a Facebook user there is saying that Sherrod, you in good company. No wonder
Very
you
much so.
always laughing.
What's there to fret about? Nothing to fret about this time.
Oh my goodness.
Good to have all of you guys. So yes, we see Beatrice and Jean Noble, Heaven Faith, Joy Pamela, Morna Monroe. Good to see all of you guys. You all are up early. Thanks for waking up so early. 8 o'clock. Some people still turning over.
Pamela is saying that it's raining in Manhattan.
Wow.
Oh, I can take the rain in Manhattan any day. Manhattan is one of the places I can take.
Yeah,
I
it's
take some rain
actually
there.
raining here as well.
Yeah,
We had
yeah,
some light
yeah.
showers this morning, but the
Yeah.
sun is trying to come through.
The last
So
time I
let's see what
was,
happens.
the last time I was in Manhattan, it was raining. But me and my best friend, we just we were little kids in there.
Yes,
we
I think
had
I
a
saw
blast.
photos of Doretta playing in the rain.
Yeah, stomping up in some puddles.
It was like
Puddle of
It was
water.
like 1 a.m. in the morning, but the rain is just like whatever.
Yeah.
One life to live.
Paulette Hicks out here and Empress Fatima Flavors out here. You know these Facebook names, folks. We got to do a workshop. I see Avel Ali is here too. Alicia Thomas.
Chester Village on the west.
Yep,
West
and Don Cook, Ronnie Lal, and Beatrice is still here with us. With we,
Beatrice on a bus.
Travanza Williams, and all you
I
fantastic
see
folks.
Shoy Gibson. Hey, Shoy. How
Hey,
are you?
hey, hey. And you know,
Shoy.
guys,
Choice family.
Yes.
if you guys are celebrating a birthday, happy birthday. We know one of our favorites, Chanel Smith Daniel, celebrated her birthday yesterday. Chanel's about what? Going number 21, 22 now.
But she looks
Somewhere
about
thereabout,
18. I don't know.
Yeah,
So
somewhere there
Chanel-
about. Happy
Whatever.
birthday,
I
Chanel.
think Chanel found the fountain of youth or something.
She found it.
She got to
Found it.
direct us.
Yeah.
Happy belated birthday.
Happy
to
belated.
you,
All of you
Shoy.
guys who celebrating or celebrating the birthday, happy birthday to you guys. Hope it's going to be a productive, definitive year, guys. When we started out, we said pace and power.
Peace and power.
And 2 months have already gone by, right? What do you guys got to show for 2
rapidly.
months? What do you guys got
So
to show?
rapidly.
Yeah,
My
time
gosh.
going.
Really, it's about. I think it's about intentional living now.
Mhm.
You just have to live intentionally and on purpose.
Mhm.
Correct.
I was driving down the road this morning. I'm thinking, my God, it's Thursday,
Yeah, already.
and I'm sure when I blinked, it was Sunday, and
Yeah,
I was.
yeah.
you know,
It's
I'm
just
right
starting.
there with you. I
Right.
haven't gotten used to how fast time has been going
And
by.
what struck me is that there wasn't even a holiday this week.
Well, that
You
is
know?
it.
there's no holiday. I was like,
You know?
you know what struck me is odd. On Saturday, I had to make an appointment for today, Thursday, and I was like, oh God, it's so far away, and here you are.
Right on Thursday.
It's
Right on Thursday, folks. We know some of you like us, you're wondering, do I have to get out of bed? Intentional living as a band.
Yes, you have to live on
Intentional living.
I see France in the house this morning.
France is here.
Yes.
Um,
Bonjour.
oh, sure. Adios. Please say hi.
Well.
Please say hi to the president there for us, Mr. Macron. Please say hi.
Veronica Primoralins, she's from Atlanta. Good morning, Veronica.
Oh, Atlanta's in the
And
house.
Sutherland, England, also here with us this morning.
Sutherland,
I want some of
England.
these stamps in my passport, please and thank you.
Yes. Vashti Megnat. Good morning,
Waterloo,
Vashti.
Canada. Vashti lives in Waterloo, Canada.
Wow,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Amazing. Heaven Faith and Melissa McFarlane.
Mhm.
Wow, good morning to all of
Guys,
you guys.
yep,
Let's
thanks
know
for
what
that.
you're having for breakfast.
Yeah, we were having
you
having
know.
some tea,
Having our usual.
having some milk tea. You know, I have a colleague who had this thing against milk. That's what she used to say.
Yeah.
Milk. It's when
Like
you use the
milk.
powder milk.
Oh
Yeah.
my
You know,
God.
don't ever put powder milk in her tea. You know, she bushy like that.
No,
I think it's milk. Some people say powder milk. She couldn't manage his powder milk. How do you guys have your tea? Milk tea?
Well,
I have
Elizabeth,
mine
I said
without-
Elizabeth.
without
No,
any
Heaven Faith
berries
actually.
or-
Heaven Faith. You know these Facebook names amaze
Yes,
me.
yeah.
She said I need a FYI. Cause I know there's a lot of persons.
Yeah,
that
hold
will
on,
actually
man.
ask
Hold
you.
on,
Just
hold on.
bear with us a little
We
bit.
got a guy named Davis. He preventing you from having the cups. See, we can show you faith soon. He preventing it. We want to give you all the cups, but he preventing it. We tell you all how he preventing it. Hold on.
Yeah.
Region 3, of course, we have Ganesh Maipa.
Hey, Ganesh.
He said,
Ganesh?
How you
let me,
doing?
let, me
Ganesh?
read, let me read this comment. Hello,
Chubby fella
Region
from the back
3.
street by the side show.
I need to just
Right here.
quote him, right? Hello, Region 3 in the damn house too. And today is Devin Sears' birthday.
Oh,
Devin, fellow colleague.
Yes.
Happy
Devin.
birthday, Devin.
Yeah.
Blessings to many, many more to come.
Devin was 17, huh? Devin was 17.
Yeah.
17, 18.
Yeah.
17
You know, they
about.
all look so young.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going
We got a
on.
young crop we got on this side. We got a young crop on this
Audrey
side.
Ward is watching from the British Virgin
Oh,
Islands. this
BVI.
morning.
BVI. Some of these stamps will be
Good
passport,
morning.
man.
Good morning.
I'm answering don't touch her sleep. It's the rest of me.
Oh my goodness.
But she gets
This
about.
is rule.
She gets you wrong.
This is how
Amanda
rumors
gets you wrong,
start.
folks.
This is true.
She gets you wrong. I want a couple stamp on my
This is
passport
true.
too. Got places to go, people. Places to go.
Pamela knows how she got them and last she heard about milk tea.
Oh
Milk
my God.
tea. Mac milk too.
Vanessa Wardine says New Jersey's in the house.
Uh-huh.
Hey, Vanessa, good
How do you
morning.
guys do breakfast in New Jersey? How do you guys do it there? New Jersey is a wonderful place.
It's really
Beautiful
nice,
place.
yeah.
You went
Yeah.
it too? All of them. You went
God
China too?
has
Can I
blessed
call
me
any
to-
place you
God
went?
has blessed
Oh,
me to
shucks.
go a few places, see a few things, you know.
Life good for some of us.
Good
It's
morning,
important.
Andrew Cuthbert. I see
Andrew always
joining
here.
us.
Andrew are always
Remember to share the live stream and to smash the
here.
emoji.
Yes, encourage them, Andrew. Encourage them.
Sharon, somebody complained that they were having problems sharing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, we
our
were looking.
programs
Yes,
in the
arthritis as
ring,
well.
FYI. No, Facebook was blocking.
Oh, wasn't arthritis. It was Facebook.
Mhm.
Facebook blocking. Facebook, come on now. Come on, Facebook. Come on.
Yes,
I think
yes.
Sharon said them boys.
Yeah. Good to see all of you guys. Who's Sandra Baptiste joining us? A lot of wonderful folks. Miss Cummins,
No,
Rowena
Aliyah, I
Cummins.
did not go to Nairobi. Look, here's a look at my husband
Aliyah,
went to
well, you there? Was she there? Aliyah there in Nairobi, where is he, sir? With Onish Waldron was in Nairobi,
Yeah,
Kenya.
Minister
Yes,
Waldron was in
Minister
Nairobi.
Waldron. Say hi
Oh,
for
wow.
us if you see you guys running to each other. Sarah, Elizabeth, Israel, a lot of strong.
God,
I
they
said-
say you need a haircut.
She
Huh?
Noble.
Me?
They say you need a haircut.
Okay.
Ganesh is a hater, man. He's a hater. Ganesh is a hater.
Gadish needs to come and join us.
Yes,
one morning.
we keep telling
Has he
him
ever been
that.
on this
He always
show?
Not
passing the
once.
studio and he stopping in.
Gadish.
Always, right? And we get some of you special
It
things.
sounds like Ganesh. That sounds like
Right?
Ganesh.
We get some of your special stuff for you when you drop by. Whenever
So
you're.
we see actually Don Cook is saying yes, I had problems sharing too. So there's a lot of persons that have been complaining about share that we've been saying we have been looking at the issue.
Yeah.
And the issue seems to be with Facebook. So
Mark Zuckerberg in particular. Is he?
well, I think
Is he?
we may have a group of persons that's working as very hard to make
So,
sure
yeah,
that people
because I
can
think,
share
you
and
know,
so
they may
forth.
be reporting it and
Correct.
preventing it from being shared and so on.
We know
But,
y'all.
you know,
We see y'all. We see y'all. Have a cup of tea, folks.
Heaven Faith is saying,
Relax.
yes, me too. There's a lot of complaints coming on about persons
people
not being able to share.
Yeah.
So we are looking at it, and we'll try to get some kind of resolution. Hopefully, we can.
Yeah. Dave is monitoring it while we try to get a cup of something.
I think Facebook uses right. It's a
Yeah.
word jealous of Sharon.
Yeah. Chemo Waldron, they don't want me to be great. They don't want me to be great. That's the problem. Chemo Waldron, good to see you there, and Audrey Ward and Cherry Baskin, Greenwich. All you nice people, man. Odessa Wardine is here too. Melissa McFarlane. Lovely people.
Yep. Welcome, Jordan.
Welcome.
What's trending this morning?
What's trending? Baby
Well,
there.
there's a lot of things trending this morning, but I think one of the things that's trending is actually Rihanna's appearance
Oh.
at Dior
I want my
fashion
badge. I want my badge.
fashion fashion week. Where did you put your badge, Sharon?
Guys, just pelt my badge for me. It's on the table. Just pelt.
Just miss me.
We can do a matrix now.
And so there you have it. Pregnant Rihanna wears lingerie to Dior show at Paris Fashion Week, and we can there's a lot of
Oh.
persons. I saw a lot
What a
of
way to start the morning.
no, I see a lot of different comments coming in as to the outfit altogether because it's basically lingerie, right? So a lot of persons have been making so much comments about it, whether or not they agree or
I'm not
not.
making any negative comments.
Right. So, but my position is at the end of the day, Rihanna is selling her brand. Rihanna makes
I love this brand.
a lot of money through makeup and fashion altogether, beauty products and fashion altogether. So when she's out there and she wears this, then it would be interesting. It would be interesting to note the returns that she would actually get off of just going out there being pregnant and actually modeling her own clothing line basically. So that's what we're seeing there right now. I mean, I don't think
I mean, Sharon seems to be in a trance. I have no view one way or the other on what. I mean, as long as she's not harming anybody.
She harming me.
She's
Jake.
making,
No harm here.
she's definitely making
It's all good here.
making her money and fashion altogether is very contentious
Rihanna's
over
doing
the
Rihanna.
Yeah.
Rihanna makes Rihanna make Rihanna type of money. Exactly.
And I'm sure all of the people who have opinions about her.
But when you're talking about
ranking the way she is.
but most definitely.
It's an
We bang
empowering thing.
differently.
It's an empowering thing. You have the Dior this show that was done in Paris recently, Paris Fashion Week. I know Mans was slated to be there, but then she had to be here at the same time, and then she chose us. And you have to be a very empowering place to just be able to put on your shoes in the morning when you get out of bed and just head to a fashion show.
This is the point.
Just put on your shoes and you're gone.
Listen,
that's life right there.
You have to, and I think we often in this part of the world have a difficulty grasping that because we are still very conservative in our outlook and in our approach. But these are people that live out loud and they
work hard to get there.
They work hard and they explore themselves. They live.
I like your child father.
I'm not.
Thankfully, that chair doesn't have to like.
I like your child father.
I think you're going
I like your child father.
I think you're
He's
going
a little rough from the edges.
Same way.
Child father for me.
So we'll have that conversation another time about how we like to talk about or how we predetermine what somebody's other should look like.
Yes, my gosh.
These preconceived notions as to what she.
I have a lot to say on that topic.
I want to know what your other looks like. I want to know what man's other look like. That's why we want to know. Coming soon. Coming soon. She's getting like them boys. Coming soon. Folks, we all waiting with bated breath for the unveiling.
But as we move forward this morning, guys.
Why you want to move forward so quick?
I don't want to get
Why want to move forward so quick? Tell me slow down on the roads, people. Take care and caution.
You're making a very good point. A lot
the
of
unveiling
persons,
of her other half?
No, but the fact that she's saying, there's a lot of persons out there have a perception of what someone's spouse should look like and what should be, who should be matched and all of those things. A lot out there. So Rihanna is an example there, as we were discussing, like the father of her unborn child is A$AP Rocky, and a lot of persons, A$AP spent some time in behind bars for, I think it was marijuana, if I'm not mistaken. Nevertheless, but here he is, and they look pretty happy together. So who is really charming?
Rihanna get catch. Let's admit it.
I said
Rihanna get catch.
No.
She's having a bit like
this goes to an important conversation about stereotypes.
Correct.
And about about this perception that we have that women of a certain stature can only be properly matched with.
Yeah.
And it leads to a lot of people being miserable and unhappy.
Yeah.
Because you see proverbial power couples and they don't like each
Why?
other.
Why do I feel like this is a show where people are downplaying expectation? I
No, it's not about downplaying
I don't know.
expectation.
No, but
It's
we're
about the
no, but
longer
we're
you live.
discussing
Uh-huh.
we're discussing Rihanna.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's an
And the
example.
longer
She's
you
an
live,
example.
the longer you live, is the more you realize that people and their opinions
Don't
should
matter.
have an impact on your
True.
happiness.
What matters is you and your happiness.
Absolutely.
Agreed.
Absolutely.
That we can agree on.
So,
That we can agree on.
You go with who makes
So
you
when
happy.
Rihanna is about $2 billion worth, and when ASAP is about $5 million, who cares? They find
Well, it's
happiness
generally
among
the
themselves.
people who
He's
even-
only worth $5 million. Hold up.
Anyway,
Hold up.
best wishes to the people.
Best wishes to the
You
Yeah,
couple
More power to you.
and their
safe
family.
safe
More power to you.
delivery and so
Yeah.
on and so forth.
Very good. But talking about women out there, like we just spoke about Rihanna, pregnant out there doing her thing, and then there we have our neighboring island Trinidad. Trinidad had somewhat of an
Lot
amazing
going on.
show on stilts.
Well, I don't think the notes speak quite yet. But if you want to do that, go right ahead, Rita.
The carnival queen.
Go
wasn't
right
it?
Yes,
ahead.
correct.
Yeah.
We had the carnival. I think it's right there in the notes chart.
Is
But
there?
there we had the carnival queen. Right.
It's in the notes. I wasn't looking, apparently. Yep.
We had a carnival queen. I believe she was 5 months pregnant.
Yes.
And actually
Amazing story.
out there on stilts, and she
10
won-
feet stilts. I could see you, Manzo.
No.
I just
Still
need 4
Still
people.
sing.
So the queen of carnival is a Chanel
Bryson?
Bryson wins crown for the second time. 4 months. Well, this one is saying 4 months pregnant. But there you saw the photo of her actually there. My gosh.
Yep.
On some person say about 10 feet of
Yeah, that's what we
stilts,
saw.
like,
She's on
wow.
10 feet of stilts. She's dancing her life away. As a matter of fact, the report says that when they learned, the organizers of the
They
competition,
wanted her to put someone else
Yeah.
because she was pregnant, but she said that she had
I
years
got
of
this.
experience.
I got
Yeah.
this.
Yep.
I don't, it really is now that we are treating pregnant women as if pregnancy is somehow of a disability. I mean, that is the fullest expression of womanhood that there is. So why not do what you do whilst you are pregnant? I mean, there are certain things that you would not do because, of course, it will jeopardize the health of your unborn child. But certainly, look, we come from a strong line of ancestors, okay? That had to birth these babies this morning and go back in the field at midday and work. So this is nothing new to us, and certainly, kudos to her. I mean,
Women.
getting
Yeah.
content.
Yeah.
We women we bad like that.
Superheroes.
I think you're giving
We bad like that.
Rihanna ideas now.
Superheroes. Women, all the women there in the comment section, we're all superheroes, and we go through so much, and we just tend to balance and make sure that we accomplish whatever it is that we set out our minds to accomplish. Sherrod.
More power to you guys. More power to you guys.
Yeah, one of the things I would certainly want to see in our society is this conversation happening more, and these barriers being broken down. I know we're making a lot of progressive steps towards equal representation in Parliament. Outside, for example, we have a 50-50 split, and so on. So these are all progressive issues and ideas, but I'd like to see us talk about those softer issues.
Yeah.
The unseen things that really are hampering the development and progress of women. And one of the things that I'm passionate about is women developing a true sisterhood. I think for too long women have been taught that you have to compete against another woman rather than complement.
Yeah, but there has been a lot. Amanda's correct.
This has been Jared's experience. This has been my experience. And so this is why we take a position like, look, we're consciously going to root for each other, build each other up. You'll have times that you say, well, I didn't like how that was done or whatever.
Yeah.
But it's all taken in good faith. Because I think once as women, we understand that building a sisterhood is important. just at the minimum respect. We're gonna love each other and so on and so forth, but just at the minimum to respect and not to contribute to the tearing down of another woman. I think we'll go far away in terms of seeing
Fantastic point.
what we can achieve as a society.
Fantastic point.
Even as politicians, I tend to, and you will hear me a lot of times, I would critique severely a lot of the policies and actions, and so from females on the government side, for example, or whatever opposite side, and but I will never go to a point to critique that person's personality or something like that, because at the end of the day, we understand how difficult it is as a woman to be involved in politics altogether. But that doesn't take away from the fact that once you're in that life, you have to be accountable when it comes to action. So I'm just saying that to just add to Man's point that yes, you can critique, but we have to have, as women, we need to have the society that we support each other, build each other up. We often see like these memes that says, you fix your sister's crown and so, but then in reality, nobody, hardly anybody's fixing anybody's crown.
And that is unfortunate. And this is where I always come back to Sherrod and the way he represented and stood up in the National Assembly as it related to that fella Dharamlal and his conduct. And so I think we are going to continue to have these conversations as March progresses.
And we are going to continue to have it on this very program, because we had announced a person of interest. And it's persons this morning of interest. But before we get there, we wanted to give you guys an update, FYI, on what's happening in the Ukraine. What's happening in Ukraine. And on that front, folks, we see some folks from Israel, a team of doctors, heading to the Ukraine to offer their services. And we thought this is tremendously commendable. An Israeli delegation of doctors and nurses are on their way to help civilians in Ukraine. As you know, the warfare there has been escalating. There's been a number of lives lost. The Russian army is taking on a lot of casualties. We saw about 500 persons. 500 soldiers would have died there, and the Ukrainian authorities said that's a conservative estimate being put out by the Russian authorities. But we are of the view that one loss of life is one too many. And these guys really got to pause and reconsider these actions and go back around that table, man.
Yeah, I think that's the only way. Look, my concern is the assault on the international legal order that we set up. We set it up for a reason.
Yeah.
And for you to fly in the face of it in this manner is concerning. After World War II, the world took a decision that we're not going to go down this path again. And so they set about setting up a global legal order for a reason. And so it has to be that they have to go back to the negotiating table. I continue to be concerned, though, about the treatment of Indian and African students in the Ukraine. I mean, I've seen videos on BBC where they have been refused passage on trains and buses, and they have to walk. Some of them for as long as 8 hours to get to the Polish border and so on. And for me, that is sad. That even in the midst of all of the war and death, that you still have time to be racist. So that leaves a bitter taste in my mouth. But that doesn't take away from the fact that we have to protect the legal global order. It's there so that we could have order. So to just fly in the face of it is really something that we cannot condone.
But we all have to do our part, even
This is commendable.
the persons in the struggle together, like you're rightly saying, everyone there is in the same struggle, so no one should be segregated when it comes to the help that they can receive.
Absolutely. For you to be discriminating in terms of relief, it's
The only thing I would add here is that, as you talked about the global legal order and the way it was set up and what it was set up to prevent, I think, like, when are we going to just step in? Because, I think we saw 1 war, 2, 3, 4, 5, 100, and we said, never again, after everyone. Never again, we're going to allow this to happen. And I see NATO sitting on the sidelines, the US sitting on the sidelines. And when are we going to just say, never again, and really mean it? Never again. It is wrong with everybody
is making a point.
going through all of these hoops
correct. Sharon, as Sharon said, it comes back to what Amanda is saying, right? We're not governed by aliens. We have people that runs the various countries, all the organization. It's been operated by people like you and me, right? So when you see the actions of people on the ground, even with the discrimination of persons on the ground, it just gives you an idea as to how far we are yet to go as a world
Absolutely.
altogether
Yep.
before we can say
Yep.
that there will never be another war. Because even if you eliminate all of the leaders that we have right now, you put new leaders in, you are taking these new leaders from a crop of people that
have the same
discriminate.
mindset. Absolutely.
You got me, right? So you can't
Absolutely.
put the blame on the current leaders alone. It's the system. It's a system that we have to change altogether. And it starts from the unit of the family. And that's the only hope that we have moving forward.
Joretta has a point, and if we go down that rabbit hole, it will be such a discussion because it comes back to what are the values that are taught
Correct.
in families, and frankly, that is the kernel that keeps racism growing in Guyana. What are you taught at the level of the family?
Yeah.
Who are you taught to fear? Who are you taught to
Us against
mistrust?
them.
Who are you? Yes.
The us
And
against
so,
them.
really and truly, you're absolutely right. It does come back to the unit of the family and what do we teach our children.
Like it or not, families are mothers. We are in the month of International Women's Day, and mothers are out there, and they are raising the future of the world.
Yeah.
And the direction in which this world goes will be determined by how a mother nurtures her child.
Absolutely.
That's what's going on. That's the fact of it.
Absolutely. Sharon?
Yep, and talking about that, closer to home now, guys, again, our thoughts and prayers go to all of those folks who have lost someone in this conflict, this war that's happening there between Russia and the Ukraine. And we hope that better sense prevails sooner rather than later. Closer to home, we missed the opportunity yesterday to talk about it on our program, but we saw a photograph overnight on social media, and we thought, what a good sight this was. This is Pandit Ubraj Narayan, part of the observances of Ash Wednesday yesterday, and it's in George's Cathedral. And what a picture this was. And again, you get that sense that there is more that connects us than divides us. Because again, here's Pandit Ubraj Narayan sitting in the St. George's Cathedral and being part of the observance of Ash Wednesday. And what a sight that was, Dave, to see
We
Pandit
have
Ubraj Narayan.
to, yeah, and this is very, very important because I think this goes along with the breaking down walls of religious intolerance. One of the things that I'm eternally grateful to my parents for is that they fostered in us a sense of tolerance. And so I find it difficult to criticize somebody else's belief because who am I to do that?
I don't critique religion. Period.
Period.
Who am I to decide that who is true, who is correct, and who is not?
It distresses me when I see people talk, very disparagingly about other people's religions and about their beliefs. It is very distressing, and it breeds a level of intolerance that I think we have to, as a society.
That's a global war all by itself.
It is, and it is the cause of a lot of wars. And until we get to the point that we can respect people, this is what you believe, it works for you, good for you. This is what I believe, it works for me, good for me.
Yeah.
Until we get to that level, we will continue to have a lot of friction, needless friction in our society. So kudos to Ubraj. I myself, I participate in a lot of the other religions because to me it's fascinating, it's learning, and there may be people out there who want to say all kinds of things, but
Knowledge
it
is
works
power.
for me because for me, I want to understand why is it that
Love
you
that.
believe what you believe.
Yeah.
Tell me about it.
Yeah.
And you build bridges instead of building walls. So kudos, Ubraj.
And I think it's so important to be open, whether it's to other cultures, other religion, just new experiences on the whole. There's such a huge world spinning outside there, outside of your village, outside of the community that you come from. And it's so important as you connect, to this global village, that you're able to understand, you assimilate the experiences that are out there, and you're able to make better sense of the world, get a broader sense of music and language and culture, and
Yep.
books and ideas and all of that. It's so important to be
Because
open.
persons need to
It's so true.
persons need to and when I look at religion altogether, it's like there's a fear of going beyond what you know when it comes to religion. A lot of persons have a fear of going beyond what they know.
Yes.
And a lot of persons generally fear moving away from their comfort zone. This is what I was taught as a child, and then we see the same thing manifesting itself even in politics.
In politics,
Right?
yeah.
Persons have a fear
Yeah.
to deviate from the known, and a lot of times that's why you see a lot of people who are well read and so forth to go over and say, there's a lot of lapping over interlocking of a lot of these principles that persons teach in various religious camps and so forth, because you can go and say, oh, good and evil, and good and evil is something taught throughout, so we have so much in common, but we have to be daring to go and investigate and be curious and to learn more about each other and what we believe in and what it represents.
I have no apologies for being a seeker. I
Me
read,
too.
I
My
learn.
God, I question everything.
One of the most interesting experiences I had that opened my eyes. I was in a Mediterranean country,
You went there too?
and
I see.
It's all coming.
I went to a Christian church, and they're singing in their language, and they're singing about Allah. And I was like, okay, because I come from Guyana, so you associate. And then when you understand that God is Allah in the Maltese language, and they were singing that, you realize, like, okay, that was a seminal moment for me in terms of opening my mind as to what really is happening. And so I've become an avid reader since then. I've made it a point to study all of the major religions. So I'm quite comfortable with respecting people and their beliefs. So,
Most definitely.
And if you don't understand, keep quiet.
yeah.
If you don't understand, keep quiet.
Yes.
And as Amanda talks about investigation and all of that, is a perfect segue to the other trending issue, which is the fact that we've had COVID locally, and then we've had the variants. We've passed through all of these phases. We've had what we suspected to be, well, there was the Delta variant, there was the Omicron, and then there was another one after that. This was the IHU that was discovered somewhere in Italy or somewhere like that. And it was actually named after the hospital where it was discovered, the IHU variant. And the administration locally sent to get some tests done, but I think this was within the last month. And we just discovered that we had or have the Delta variant with us. 2 variants later.
The Delta?
The Omicron. Sorry, we have the Omicron.
I don't understand how we were ever in doubt that we had the Omicron.
But the administration, they were operating under the assumption.
Well, Frank is always supposing and suspecting. Frank never sure. So. But,
Frank wasn't even sure how the persons got their approval for the show. Wasn't it much?
And this is what you confront.
Or if they had it.
This is what you confront, because how can you accurately diagnose or prescribe the medication if you don't know what the ailment is? And now this is actually fact, because according to the administration, the numbers are waning, even though we have said that they've gone into this phase now of home tests. And if you're positive, you don't need to tell us. you don't need to tell us. But I saw yesterday we had 13 or 23 cases of COVID-19. So the numbers
we don't know.
We don't know. So even though the numbers look small, that's not an accurate picture, because people who are doing the home tests now locally don't have to report to the health authorities that they're positive.
Yeah.
That's an interesting development.
It's different.
Very.
Have you ever done the home test?
No. No.
Yeah, quite an experience to be swabbing yourself.
Inflicting self-pain.
Yes.
No, but as Rita said, it was quite interesting recently to see and to hear the Minister of Health say that some of the folks who had events from Ashmani, they weren't granted approval. And,
Are you shocked? Are you surprised?
I'm shocked to the extent that you would expect something else is coming after that. To say, well, we're going after these persons, they will be penalized. But it was like, it was just an observation.
Yeah, and I have my view on these events. I particularly, and it may be an unpopular view, that they're intended to distract. A lot of crap is going on in Guyana that Guyanese need to be aware of and to be actively involved in resolving. And so I view some of these things as a distraction. And so I continue to say, look, do not be distracted. Focus on what is happening. Um, we have a lot of serious issues that Guyanese have to participate in if we are going to move this nation forward. So all of these big concerts and so on and so forth, you have to be concerned about the timing of them as well. I know, yes, we're anxious to go outside and we're anxious to, but there are times to take a whole of focus, and that was one of those times.
Hold of focus. That's been a Mantis theme since the year has begun. Hold of focus. So we're monitoring this. I can't remember if we got into information from CARFA that's asked, well, that said to us that we were positive for the Delta variant. Maybe that's
No, I
still
don't
there.
recall
Maybe that's still
hearing
there.
that.
We're gonna hear about that sometime in the not too distant future, hopefully. But we said there was the Delta variant, then there was the Omicron, and then there was the IHU. And who knows where we are on those outstanding too. But that's some of what is happening we thought you guys should know about. And then there's some action too happening at GCOM. Yep, continuous registration is on Monday. From
Well,
Monday.
most definitely, and that's something that we need to look at. I think we covered a bit of it yesterday before. So basically what GCOM is saying is that GCOM has effectively, there was a vote taken, and I believe it was the chair that had the deciding vote to cancel all the application captured during the 2019 house-to-house registration. So we're saying this to you because, as you know, that GCOM has announced that they will be starting a cycle of continuous registration beginning on Monday, March 7th. And what they're saying now is that all the persons that would have been applicants during the 2019 house-to-house registration, you all have to go back again and go through that process because the vote was taken, the chair having a deciding vote to have that all of those applications cancelled. So persons out there that were captured in the 2019 house registration, you have to go back again and do that.
Yep.
That process all over again.
But you know what? I don't like how Twitter set that one up because the chairman didn't have the deciding vote. The chairman votes with the PPP. Let's just put it out there. I haven't seen an instance, I haven't read an instance since the chairman took over GCOM where she has sided with the members of the opposition on any issue. So it's become very clear to me if you're waiting for something else to obtain, there was no deciding vote. The chair casts her vote with the PPP members of GCOM.
It was a deciding vote. Yes, but I get your point.
Yeah.
No, because it's gonna be it's
It's
six
habitual.
Yeah.
member. She's the seventh vote, right?
Exactly.
But
Yeah.
there isn't a case, so it can be it's you just know where it's gonna go. It's like you could close your eye and say, irrespective of the issue, irrespective of the rationale. As a matter of fact, what was the last issue for the last big issue at GCOM was the appointment of the
CEO.
CEO.
See you.
And everybody said, based on our own history, let quote unquote independent people handle it, an independent panel, take it out of the hands of the political directorate. Which seemed like the obvious thing. You had even the CARICOM report says GCOM and this the political people at GCOM should be done away with. And so this would have been a good step in that direction to say, you know what, let objective people, look at this thing, quote unquote, objective people, and even that, right? And tomorrow, if the members on the opposition, they were GCOM, say that they want what do you call it, continuous registration, the chair will vote against it. If the other side was voting against it,
Sharon, this thing is
it's ridiculous.
It's
I'm just gonna say
that
that.
is the word.
I'm gonna say that. It's
No,
just
that is
it's
the
ridiculous.
exact description.
I don't want
of
us
it.
to move away from the essence of this.
No, I understand the
Right?
essence of it. What
No,
it
no,
is,
not that.
the importance of the continuous registration, and we have been saying whatever your views are, go out there and get registered. It's their democratic right to get registered for not only for voting, you need your ID card, etc.
Right.
Everything that goes along with that, go
Right.
out there. And while our preference is for a more sanitized voters list,
Yes.
because we know we have a bloated voters list. We
Right.
know we have a bloated, and we have to solve that problem. We can't just kick the can down the road. And part of solving that problem is the house to house registration.
Correct.
But I'm just saying, I was just picking up on there as though
Yeah.
the chairman was in some conundrum, and she was she was pained and so on as to where her vote was going to go.
Look, it will require vigilance, I think, at the level of the community, at the level of even GCOM staff. This can only be allowed to happen if we allow it to happen. And I have been expressing concern since that registration of births and deaths amendment
Yeah.
that this is a ploy to continue to pad the voters list with um, people who do not qualify to be citizens of Guyana. And we have to continue to take a holistic look at this thing. We had a conversation right on this panel about how the UAE, how they arrange their citizenship arrangements in terms of the fact that people can come, they can work, but they will
Correct,
never
yes.
get UAE citizenship because there are certain rights and benefits that accrue to citizens. We have the most lax laws as it relates to our citizenship. And what it means is that, yes, while we need to grow our population, what we will be doing is that we will be watering down the benefits that should come to legitimate
Yeah,
Guyanese.
and while you talk about those benefits, we have noticed because of the level of complaints we get at our end, the amount of people who are complaining about being Guyanese and not being able to get your birth certificate on time for your newborn, not being able to get that. So you used to take 2 weeks. Now a year
6
later,
months, 6 months,
6 months
1
later,
year.
people are still waiting, and that is really angering a lot of people. And in fact, lots of them say they are not being treated well by the staff at all. When they go, they feel as though they're begging for a favor, as against being granted this service as part of your right as a citizen.
So we want to call, I think it's Reverend Cummings that is there to please. We are offering a service to the people of Guyana, and let it be that. They're not coming to beg a favor. It is actually a
often speak of
legal
this.
obligation incumbent on the state to give people a birth
Yeah.
certificate. That is my right as a citizen
Yeah.
to be entitled to an identity document. So please, why we gotta have all of this go wrong and come wrong?
Yeah.
You're providing a service.
It's a human right. It's a basic
It's a
human
basic-
right.
Yeah.
You know, people do not know that these things or may not
They're
recall.
written as a human right.
They're written as a human right in the human rights
Yeah.
to
And-
have a name.
treaty,
Yeah.
to have a name, to have documentation identifying you. And Bishop Desmond Tutu that passed, he was quite prominent in the forefront of the fight to make sure that every child's birth is registered
Yes.
and they're given a document. So comment, y'all need
Yeah.
to get it together out down there, man.
Yeah, because those documents, and I just want us to get back to the point that we talked about with GCOM. Those documents are absolutely important, especially now when they have this cycle of continuous registration that they're doing. And I dare say the point that we were making this morning is that persons that were there in 2019, if you know of persons, if you're listening, you know that of persons that went out and they were registered in 2019 during the house registration period that happened, then you need to advise those persons that they need to go and get registered again right now, because those applications have been canceled. And that's the important point that we need to get out there this morning. This is a messaging that you cannot afford to just let go by the wayside.
GCOM needs to get its act together
Yes.
and do a serious PR campaign,
Yes.
because the implications
It
of
is
this
severe.
is severe and it's wide ranging.
But even with that, let me throw some other stuff out there. Taxpayers' money went to registering those
Correct,
people.
yes.
And if I remember correctly, the chairman of GCOM, Claudette Singh, was just appointed chairman when she came in and stopped that process. It had just started. The house-to-house registration came in and stopped that process. Now it is money, it is effort, and I think we had some legal cases on this very issue, whether they were those new names were supposed to be added to the new voters list, and it was a matter of litigation in the court.
Yeah, and there were judgments passed, and I think it was Christopher Ram and GCOM, if I recall. And it has had implications because there's a national register of registrants.
Correct.
Right? And on that you register people from 14.
Correct.
And then from that NRR you extract the voters list, which is everybody 18 and above who are eligible to vote. And of course, there is enshrined in law various means by which you can take off the names of people who would have died, take off the names of people who would have migrated and are no longer um, in Guyana. And that judgment has affected GCOM's ability to do all of that. The result is a severely bloated voters list. The result is that bloated list allows for the mischief that we saw. 49 ballot boxes without papers, missing notes of identity, and all of these things that um, clearly indicates how vulnerable the system is, because you have, in a country of 700 and something thousand people, a voters list of 600 and something thousand,
Yeah.
with a school population of close to 300.
But these are the
Make it make
problems
sense.
that we have to solve, because if we don't, then usually your kids and Amanda's kids going to perhaps have shows of their own where they're going to be talking about we got correct the voters list.
Yes.
And we in our generation did not. We got solve problems and not just kick the can down the road, because since there's a little boy here, we talking about this list that we got to cleanse and we got to cleanse, but we ain't doing it.
From as far back as 2003, GCOM had agreed that it was time for drastic modifications to be made. But the government is currently in place reneged on that, the party that is in place. And so we have to get the information out there to people so that they understand that this short term grabbing for power that we're engaging in will cost Guyana in the long term, and will cost us in the long term, and will see us being relegated to second class citizens in our own. When you are distracted fighting each other, for example, I am making off like a bandit, you continue to fight.
Yeah.
And I will use that to my advantage, and I will continue to exploit. So by the time you look up, you are exploited, your resources are exploited, and there's nothing for your children. So Guyanese have to really take stock. We got to take stock of ourselves and share it to solve problems. We keep kicking the can down the road, kicking the can down the road. I don't know when we are going to,
I don't see it as I see it as a step in a wrong direction, complete wrong direction. It has a lot of implications to
It
actually
does.
canceling those applications. Persons that actually took the time and effort to be there, make themselves
What was the
present.
rationale? GCOM must
Yes.
explain
I think
what
so.
was the
I
rationale.
think so.
And let me tell you, left to me, everybody who they think would have been outside of GCOM demanding an explanation as to why
Active
this was
citizenship.
canceled. It is active
citizenship.
citizenship.
Yeah.
Don't stay behind the keyboard and cuss Sing. Head down to GCOM and demand answers as to why. Because you recall people would have made arrangements to be home to
Correct.
be registered. And then they had the claims and objectives. People had to take time off from work to go in
Yeah.
to correct, and you just decide
Yeah.
you're going to cancel it.
Yeah.
What
And
was
all
the
that is
rationale?
taxpayers' dollars that could have gone in some other area of the development of our country.
Yeah.
That being said, folks, we want to underline the registration period is starting next week. Go out and get registered. And even if you think you're registered, go and find out if you're really registered.
Go back again.
Right?
Basically.
Go back again. While we're pushing for house-to-house registration, the continuous registration cycle is starting from next week. Go out and get registered. That being said, folks, we got some tomb raiders among us.
Oh my God.
Unfortunately.
That's gross.
And as we were saying last night in our other program, our affiliate program In the Ring, when they say rest in peace, there are no guarantees there. There's an asterisk next to it.
It is.
No guarantees there, because just yesterday it was discovered that this fellow who would have met his demise about 7 years ago, Manu Durant, his gravesite was badly vandalized. Folks looking for see if he was buried with some money or jewelry or something like that. His body was flung out, it was found in parts scattered throughout this graveyard in Buxton. And again, very, very terrible on the family who now got to grieve all over again. You finally getting some closure to the demise of your loved one, and then you go to the gravesite and you see the tomb has been broken in and their remains scattered, and they're actually not resting in peace.
Well, you have to be in a really bad state altogether, mental state,
Yeah.
and I guess financial state as well, to believe that you have to go rob the dead. I think
It's really an indication of,
It's gross.
of where you are as a society.
mm,
Like
Yep.
that you have descended to those depths that you need to do that. It's an indictment. It's an indictment on where we are as a country. I can't even begin to wrap my
Yep.
mind around,
What type of mind does it take to do something
A
like
bad
this?
mind. So if you guys know who the grave robbers are, please guys hand them over to the authority. If you know who they are, hand them over to the authority so that Manu Duran can finally rest in peace instead of in pieces scattered throughout that cemetery there in Buxton. That being said, folks, the person of interest, as you know, we've been celebrating our women. The 8th day of March is International Women's Day. The theme is gender equality today for a sustainable tomorrow. Gender equality today for a sustainable tomorrow. And our person of interest is actually persons, plural, of interest. And this morning, we're celebrating the women of Ukraine because those women, Amanda, have been standing up, whether it's the beauty queen who has taken up arms, whether it's the member of parliament, the female member of parliament who had taken up arms and saying, you ain't having because you're not a blade of cement here, not a sack of cement here, not a blade of grass. And so the women of the Ukraine are our persons of interest this morning. We got Olena Zelenka, who is the First Lady of Ukraine. She has been showing tremendous courage and leadership at this time. And then we got Kara Roddick, who's one of the female MPs who have been in the forefront saying, you know what? I taking off my suit, I picking up my AK-47, and I going out there. And then we got the beauty queen of the Ukraine, Miss Anastasia Lina, who has got a lot of traction on social media. Again, saying, Putin, don't come around with funny. Don't come around with funny. Yep.
I just find the whole thing very interesting. It's good that we named it persons of interest because you know what I often look for the lessons to be learned and what can we learn from this. And one of the things that I'm learning from this is the steadfastness of how these people are defending their country and defending their democracy. They appear to be aware that this is their country, and if we don't fight for it, nobody's gonna come
Literally.
and fight for it, like literally. And so for me, it is what lessons are we as Guyanese taking away from that? What are we prepared to do to defend our democracy, to defend our republic
Collectively.
We have a lot of soul searching to do as a people.
Yeah.
We have a lot of soul searching to do because look, you would recall how Ukraine came into existence. It was when the USSR broke up. And this was quite recently in terms of the scheme of history.
Yeah.
Right? We are older than them as a nation. But here you are, you have a group of people who are stepping forward. How are we as Guyanese stepping forward to defend our
Yep.
country?
And with that too, guys, as we're on this, we've been following Guyana's vote on Ukraine at the UN General Assembly, and we seem to have gone in the right direction and didn't bother too much with what Donald Ramtara said, that the
Thank God.
Ukraine brought this upon themselves and Russia was defending themselves and so on. Guyana voted in favor of condemning this war in the Ukraine, and I saw Rav Gonzalez call it a military mission in Ukraine. It's not a war. And then Donald Ramsar was saying it's a conflict, not a war. But again, Guyana voted with the majority of countries there at the UN to strongly condemn what's happening in the Ukraine, this war that Russia has perpetuated against the Ukraine. So
because war should be condemned. I mean, you build an international legal order like we were talking about earlier in the show, to preserve peace and to make sure that these tensions are dealt with through dialogue and through diplomacy.
Yep.
War must always. I'm not even sure why it should be a resort necessarily. So I commend the stance that they've taken. It is the correct one.
Yes.
And we really do pray for an end to all of the hostilities and for the parties to get around the table. The thing that I'm learning about this is that
Thanks, Dave.
it is so nuanced, It is so nuanced that we have to keep monitoring it. And
guys, please bring us back.
the unified call that we have is for peace and for good order to prevail and sit and talk it out.
Well, there's
give peace a chance.
there's
Give peace a
actually-
chance. Love that.
And it's actually good to see that there is 141 countries actually saying that yes, we condemn these actions. We noted that there were 5 votes against, and then there were 35 that abstained.
Abstain. Yeah.
Basically, but the vast majority, 141 countries, voted in favor of that resolution condemning the actions of Russia in Ukraine.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Absolutely.
And while we're talking about war and hostilities, we got some in our National Assembly.
Yeah.
We have some in our National Assembly as well, not as grave, but war and hostilities too, because this natural resource fund issue, which is our big issue for today, the natural resource fund, and in particular choosing the board for the fund, has been very, very contentious. And I've been wondering here and out loud, why do we even need the fund? Why do we even need a board? Because all the money has already been appropriated to the national budget. And this is what the board's supposed to be presiding over. And the committees, there's a specific committee, the name always eludes me, that is set up to look at the projects the money is going to be spent on.
Yeah.
And then the board gives the final sign off. Now, projects have already been articulated of where these monies are going to be spent. The board has never met, the committee has never met, but the money's already been spent. So why do we need the fund?
And this is the
Why do we need it?
This is the farce that they
Thanks,
generally
guys.
engage in.
That's the
They
oversight.
just go through the motions
Yeah.
and pretend as you're to be accountable.
Yeah.
We still cannot say what projects specifically the NRF monies are going to be spent on.
And the legislation says you need to know.
The legislation says that you need to know. And so we continue to see that this government's commitment to transparency is a joke. Their commitment to One Guyana is a joke. Their commitment to inclusivity is a joke. And we continue to have people who excuse their behavior. And I keep saying, as Guyanese, we have to make a decision. We can keep blaming, you did this, you did that, you did this, you did that, you did this, you did that. Or we will draw a line in the sand and decide, you know what? This has to stop, it has to stop here, and this is how we will be moving forward. We have to come to that place because the only people losing are Guyanese. I am sure Irfan Ali does not know that a bag of 5 tennis rolls in the shop is $300.
Yeah.
Can you imagine?
Yeah.
$300
But that doesn't bother.
Yeah.
That doesn't
for
bother
5
him.
tennis rolls. I don't know if he knows what is the cost of a pound of milk, or else he wouldn't stand at the National Assembly at the flag raising and talk bilge about criticism and whatever. People can't feed their children. People who work, get up, work 8 to 4:30. Public servants are struggling to provide one meal a day, and you want to come and talk what?
It's rough out there.
To say
It's
don't
rough out
critique.
there.
Don't critique.
And then when you don't even have good oversight to our natural patrimony, this is our oil and gas sector, and the wealth that is created from that is supposed to be supervised by the Natural Resource Fund. But then, as we've said here, the last budget has appropriated all of that money from the Natural Resource Fund, and so the legislation has not even had a chance to function. And while we're talking about that, we understand all too well, even from the Public Procurement Commission, being appointed don't mean you're even working, because we know that hasn't even
The
been
appointment
ratified yet.
hasn't happened yet.
Right.
The names have been put to in
Selected.
public. Yeah.
They've been selected. Persons have been selected, but the appointment is still pending. And so there's a lot of outstanding issues as part of this democratic framework that we have. A lot of pieces that go together to make it function. We've just added the Natural Resource Fund to it. There's the Public Procurement Commission. There is the Judicial Service Commission, the Teaching Service Commission. You name the commission is not operational currently. All of that is part of our democratic fiber in this country and fabric.
That's the infrastructure that basically keeps democracy in place and keeps persons accountable.
But it's just that the government is not committed to building institutions.
And that's sad. It's really sad.
They operate on the cult of personality, and this continues to be a failing, I think, across our nation. We have to stop dealing in personalities and strengthen our institutions. So that if I am the head of whatever organization it is, a government ministry, a political party, an NGO, I operate in a manner that if I am to not be here tomorrow, that can go on because the institution functions and it is strong.
Yeah.
This is why you see in developed countries, as we call them, people are insulated a lot more from political issues because their institutions are strong. So in the US, you discriminate against the person, and they have institutions with which to resort that are far more developed, that are far more structured and organized, so that they have redress. In Guyana here, the average citizen is immediately impacted.
Yes, correct.
Immediately impacted. So a bus driver can do whatever he wants, and because he knows somebody in the police force, an ordinary citizen does not get justice. So there is no insulation. Strong institutions are intended to cushion citizens. And I keep saying, when you contribute to the erosion of our institutions, you are shooting yourself in the leg. And this is why I keep saying to the PPP supporters, when you support your government in lawlessness, you are shooting yourself in the foot.
Which is an important point you
Yeah,
make. Which
yeah.
is it's a tremendously important point you make. Because yesterday, we were talking on our programs. It was 2 years, 2nd of March, since the last general and regional elections. Yesterday, believe it or not, 2 years have gone by so fast. And my attention, in particular, was drawn to a program that was happening last night on one of the government channels. You had about 4 or 5 ministers who were reflecting about the last election. Now, yesterday was 2 years since that time. You had about 68 persons watching them. And again, you have all of these institutions that still don't function how the Constitution prescribe that they function because they have not been appointed, they have not been operationalized, you name it. But what is striking to me, none of that was discussed last evening, right? We
That's
still
not the
talking about
interest.
SOPs. We still
Listen to
talking
me.
about
Persons need to wake up and
Yeah.
basically see what is going on and call it for what it is. They go out there and they speak about that continuously because they try to deflect from what is happening altogether. They try to deflect from the point that we just made as a big issue that they went after preaching about this one Guyana concept that they had. They went and they used their majority what should have been a consensus candidate, and they said they're going to force someone upon in this system because they have this one majority again, and they continue to do these things, and then they're going to go back and they're going to say that oh well, this is their benchmark of democracy, just one thing. After that, nothing else matters to them. And after that, everything matters to Guyanese and everything matters to the citizens of Guyana because that's what actually makes and breaks us as a country altogether. So all of these guardrails are being broken down.
And the question continues to be asked. Okay, so what are we going to do?
Yes.
And I think that is an important question. And I want to communicate this without being at the risk of being misinterpreted with what I'm saying. There are graduated levels of bringing focus onto an issue,
Yes.
right? Your protest, etc., is your last resort. Generally, I want to ask every Guyanese who listens and who likes to ask, "What are we doing?" I often ask the question, "Well, what are you doing? Have you written a letter? Have you approached your union on what is happening? Have you explored all of your legitimate means of bringing this issue to light?" No, not me. They're going to victimize me if I say anything. And that is a possibility, yes. But how many of us are they going to victimize? They're going to fire every public servant? Will the country not grind to a halt? And so, this issue of using fear to control the population from legitimate means and peaceful means of dissent. You could write your letters. Right now, with social media, every citizen is a reporter.
correct.
And you can go live, and your live feed is viewed in Timbuktu.
Correct.
You have to begin to looking at how you can shine the light on issues so that the people who pretend like it's business as usual are no longer able to pretend as if it is business as usual. Because this is not the political opposition being up to mischief. This is the ordinary Guyanese citizen saying, look, I can't afford a bag of tennis rolls. I can't afford a bag of milk. And the reason I know that they can do it is because a lot of them are on Facebook commenting, go live.
That's what the guy that
Go live.
That's what the message from Crabman, as we refer to him, was so resounding.
It's a pressure.
Because it's the ordinary
pressure.
Guyanese going out there and speaking out.
Right?
Yeah, and-
Something
yeah.
needs to be done.
You find, and let me tell you, you find what this government does is that they keep saying when they are confronted, oh, where is the evidence?
Yes.
Where is the evidence?
My
If
gosh.
every Guyanese citizen gets onto the Facebook and say, this is what is happening, we are under pressure, how can they ask, where is the evidence?
Which is what we saw just yesterday. There was a farmer. I'm sorry we don't have that video queued for you guys just yet. There was a farmer who was making the very same plea. He's sitting in an open field, some part of this country, and he's pleading. He's saying things are tough, prices are high, everything has gone up, we're suffering. Help, administration, help.
Yes, and this is what builds an organic movement, because you have to understand that the government's quickest defense is, oh, that's the political opposition causing mischief. So is it the political opposition that is causing you to stand up and say, I am hurting, I'm struggling, I can't pay my bills? If this situation in Ukraine teaches us anything, is that to maintain your freedom, you have to work.
Correct.
Freedom is not something that you just enjoy. You have to work to maintain your freedom.
Yep.
And so we got to take stock. We have to take stock, because I guarantee you it is going to get harder again.
Yep.
Jarrett is the economist. She could predict these things.
Yeah, and has predicted that things ain't getting easy in a little while, folks.
As
And
a
that's
call,
why
it has happened.
And that's why we're following what's happening with this natural resource fund. And as it is being set up, we know the ball now is in the president's court. He has to appoint the other members. But we are.
Well, basically, what we're saying, in actuality, what is going on there is that there will be no real accountability and oversight at the level of that board altogether, because the manner in which it's been set up, if you don't have the input of the major opposition that represents approximately half or more of the country, then what are you? Who is accountable? You can't have a group of persons that is spending the money, actually selecting the people that will be overlooking the money that they are spending. Basically, what you're saying, that there's no accountability altogether.
Yeah,
And when
but
we
they
speak
can't
about
watch milk, none of the people say.
basically, that's what's going on there.
Folks, unfortunately, that's our time today. That's our time. Andrew Cuthbert and Glenford and all you fantastic guys out there, Dion Graves Andy and all you other folks, that's our time, unfortunately. And we're going to continue to monitor all these issues, guys, and keep you guys fully posted and updated. But thanks for spending this time with us.
Thank you.
Time has gone by so fast.
It goes by so
Quickly.
I don't realize it.
Wow.
Good to
Thank
have you
for
guys
joining
here.
us.
How breakfast went, guys? How are you guys doing? We hope that you guys go on to have a very productive day. You plan and now you're going to execute on those plans for the day ahead. You guys are going to have a fantastic day.
All right. Go and make it a great day.
Have a good day, guys. Make sure that to join us tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. And again, I say our affiliate programs at 12 noon below the belt, and again this evening at 8 p.m. for In the Ring. So thank you for being with us.
Yeah, as Amanda said, go and have a great day. Go on now.